Welcome to Video Influencers, yet another amazing interview with another amazing YouTuber. I've got Daniel Eisenman here on Skype, so thank you, Dan, for being on here. I also know you as Danimal. You used to be with the RawBrahs. You started out on YouTube putting on retreats, holistic health retreats, and I've been so amazed. I've also been a fan of yours. Everybody, if you guys want to see some pretty epic videos of travels around the world, Dan, I'll let you take it and explain to people more about yourself, specifically what you're up to now, what you'd like the audience to know about you, and then we'll get into the questions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's definitely my pleasure to be here. And speaking of video influencers, I'm basically looking at one of my main influencers right here. I really honor and respect, and I'm super appreciative of just that. I don't know if you remember, but that one time you kind of like sat with me and just like told me about YouTube, like algorithms and strategies for like an hour straight. And you told me, actually, you're like, well, I'm doing this because you're going to pass it along to someone else. And it's kind of like paying it forward. And I've passed that along to plenty of people. Yeah. So I really appreciate you for doing that. But I think we originally found out about each other because I co-founded the RawBrahs with my brothers. Yeah. That's RawBrahs. And we have a YouTube channel. And I think that's how we originally kind of collaborated. Currently, I've kind of evolved a refinement with my wife. You know Diana. We kind of have she has her vlog, Life is Diana, and then I have my own YouTube channel now, which is my name, Daniel Eisenman, the Freedom Catalyst. Okay. And basically, our retreats that I do with my brothers, they're about self-acceptance through self-expression. We put on a play shop. We like to call it a play shop because we like to keep it lighthearted, heavy-spirited. But we create a play shop about raw honesty where we create a safe space, not it's still scary, but safe, scary and safe space for people to kind of dive deep into all the emotions, feelings, thoughts they've avoided their whole lives, to find out it's what not only connects us the most, but it could be the keys to your freedom. And I've really been passionate about that. I see kind of the world is starving for authenticity. Yeah. We're almost in some would describe as an emotional dark age, but I think just the realization of that, anytime growth takes place, you need awareness, acceptance, and action. So I think we can be aware of that and accept that maybe there is some sort of emotional disconnect taking place. Let's take action on it. And that's why we're doing these retreats. And that's what I'm working in a book about that, actually. I'm working on a book about, rather than running from your fears, to run after them. And that would maybe hold the keys to unlocking the jail of your mind so you can connect with your heart.
Sweet. Yeah. And, I personally have experienced one of your retreats. I've heard so many testimonies from people, so I know what you guys are doing for people's lives. In fact, one of our viewers actually saw me recently and told me how you affected her life. So I know that you're doing exactly what you're stating that you do. So without further ado, we'll get into some of the questions specifically about what you guys have been up to on YouTube. Now, you guys started off being these raw foodists, I believe, and traveling. And I looked at your website, and you guys talk about how you guys were basically seeking these exotic fruits or some of these like amazing foods. Could you tell us about the evolution of you as a YouTuber from the beginning to now, kind of in a nutshell, and what you've been able to experience, which I know it's just so loaded, but do your best and explain what you guys have been doing.
All right, I'll do my best at describing in a coconut shell, since you bring up exotic fruits. And that's that's not a fruit, it's a seed actually. But okay. Yeah, I think we were practicing this crazy raw vegan diet, and it was an amazing cleanse, and it was so so counterculture, and people were really intrigued. Like all our friends, tell us, what are you doing? No, you can't eat 30 bananas a day. That's crazy. You can't do that. You're gonna get sick. And so we decided, let's just make I don't want to answer every question individually, and there's YouTube exists, so let's just make a video. And we made a video about one of our favorite foods, which was just basically a banana and romaine smoothie. We were only eating basically fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds at a certain point. And because of that, because you have three brothers, we were doing a lot of our videos like shirtless, like we're pretty athletic. We were really enthusiastic, just kind of happy-go-lucky, really good relationship between us three. So maybe the camera vibes were really good. But we sort of became these iconic figures in the raw vegan culture like really fast. Like, you know, bad news spreads really fast on the internet, but good news spreads really fast too. So the raw vegan culture loved this. They loved this. And we did it more and more. And then we kind of found out like a lot of the gurus or authors or like iconic figures in the raw vegan culture weren't necessarily practicing exactly what they preach. There seemed to be a disconnect between how they were on camera versus how they were in real life. And I was thinking like the people that are watching them, I don't know if they know that actually. They might almost be idolizing a false image for some people, not everyone, but for some people might be getting the wrong idea completely. And my youngest brother, the raw vegan diet stopped working for him. Like he was getting diminishing returns. He wasn't as strong. He wasn't as vibrant. So we decided to change up our diet. And man, that was a learning experience because we really got a lot of what you would call on YouTube haters or a lot of resistance, a lot of people that were very opposed to that, like vehemently opposed to that. But when I saw the reaction to some of those people, I was kind of like, wow, maybe there's something. I kind of felt like I got sucked into this like crazy vortex of like the raw vegan culture. So instead, we're like, man, like, I mean, there was another whole group of people that were like, whoa, bros, thank you so much for telling the truth. Like, that's the same exact thing that happened to me. And we were basically public about like, I was like 20, this was probably 4 years ago. So I was probably like 26, and I know this, you can edit this out if you want, but I was basically not getting morning wood, and I kind of forgot like what it was like to have testosterone. Long story short, I forgot what it was like to feel like to have testosterone, and I started telling that story, and we started telling the story how our gums started residing, and our hair got a little thinner, and people were like, whoa, like this is happening to me, but no one's talking about it. And we're like, man, this is what people really need. People really need the truth. And like the more we got involved with like gurus and stuff or whatever you want to call them, or teachers, the more I was realizing there was a disconnect like what they're teaching and what they're doing. So I figured like, let's just make our message honesty and authenticity. And it's something that came really natural to us. We've been, three brothers growing up so close in age. Our whole relationship was based on that. And I think at the end of the day, when people came on our retreats, like more than the food, more than the fitness, more than the honesty, they were really drawn to like our relationship, and that was based on authenticity. So now that's like the message. The message is to like, where people don't go, we go there, these retreats, and the freedom that comes from that is like miraculous.
Yeah, that's amazing. And being a follower of your brothers over the years, one of the things that I love seeing is your adventures, your travels. And obviously, I'm a food guy too. So when I see you getting to eat some of these exotic fruits or meet people who are experts in that, like in that food category, those are things that I personally have followed. Can you talk about some of the epic experiences that you've been able to, have as a result of obviously your hard work, but also your YouTube channel?
Oh man, the YouTube channel is like, all right. So I think I'm talking about food and YouTube. A long time ago, before monocrops and pesticides and fertilization, everyone used to have their own apple. There's a great documentary on this from Michael Pollan, who wrote a few books like Omnivore's Dilemma, but he has a documentary called The Botany of Desire, and everyone used to have their own apple, and it was like the Benji apple or the Eisenman apple or the RawBrahs apple. It was just like whatever was growing in your own yard. But because when Prohibition came around, they only started breeding the apples that were tasty, that were easy to ship, that were big and juicy and flavorful, because most people were turning them into hard cider. Which is pretty kind of crazy. So when Prohibition came around, it's like, well, what use of these apples? Let's just start breeding the tasty ones. With that came huge monocrops and huge pesticides. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that's fun to talk about for food. But what I see happening now on the internet is everyone's becoming their own media company.
Yeah.
Like everyone's a reporter. Like that's what social media is. It used to be like you want journalists or like certain newspapers or certain magazines, but now everyone's reporting what they're seeing and they're becoming their own media company. And that's really cool. Like the diversification and of the media and of information and how easily and rapidly and fast it's available is amazing. So I believe like by giving, because like I said earlier, that the world's starving for authenticity. By being authentic, we've created a little bit of a raving fan culture that want to experience what we're offering, and then we get to do these retreats. So, like the whole social media game for me is to like live the best life I can, document it, and then invite people to come along. And because of that, man, we've got like you joined us in Kauai. We've done a retreat in Maui.
Yeah.
We've done a retreat in Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Florida, Georgia, Texas, California. Our next one's in Montana. We've done it in Washington, like off an island. So it just allows us to get paid to pursue our passion. And I think at the core, most people really want to travel. So it's allowing us a way to travel and like see the world and man, learn from nature. Einstein said, look deeper into nature and you'll understand everything better. So it's true. It's been proving true for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say this a lot about you guys, especially you. You guys have been able to experience and see places that a lot of people work their whole lives to retire and then finally get to do that when they're older, when their bodies aren't as able for most people. And the fact that you guys got to do it at such a young age. Now, of course, your YouTube channel and the success of that YouTube channel has been a big part of it. Is there a train over there?
Yeah, is that train disturbing you? It's gonna.
Oh no, it doesn't matter to me.
You'll see it go by.
No, that's cool. We have a train too. Your YouTube channel has been a big part of it. But can you tell us what you attribute the fact that you're able to experience all those different things in different parts of the world? I mean, like literally all across the country. What do you attribute those experiences to and being able to accomplish those at such a young age?
Man, that's a big question. All right, so let's see. I'll start by I really stay conscious of seeing myself like the Creator sees me. So I imagine what God sees me as, and I imagine He sees me as like a divinely brilliant, unavoidably successful, just infinitely intelligent creation. Yeah. And like I want to give Him glory. So I really focus on like learning and loving, and like loving to learn and learning to love. And that means like keeping an open mind, an open heart, an open spirit, but also letting like your intuition guide you. And rather than focusing, what I'm finding, I'm doing a mastermind group right now called 10 All In. And I'm learning a lot about human psychology and like how people sabotage themselves from kind of manifesting their dreams into reality. And the main thing that I think I see is people thinking about what they don't want, like avoiding what they don't want, rather than going for what they want.
Yeah.
Someone's got like a maybe some psychologists or philosophers would call it like the light versus the shadow, or some people would say God versus the devil.
Law of attraction.
Yeah, law of attraction. Yeah. It's so you hear that phrase, you hear these phrases coined, but to embody them is a whole different thing, and it takes courage to grow in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of faith. It takes a lot of walking by faith. It doesn't. I feel like my life, speaking of a train, some people prefer their life to kind of be scheduled like a train schedule. Like you just sit back, you relax, everything is served, everything is nice. You know what stops you're making, when you're making them, aka like school, college, kids, how that whole routine. But for me, I feel like I'm just driving my own car. Like I'm like, yeah, the train was like safe and easy and comfortable, but I kind of like that risky. I get to turn the car, I get to drive it as fast as I want, I get to go where I want to go, when I want to go, with who I want to go. So I don't know if did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe that it all starts right here, right? It all starts with your spirit. Law of attraction is just a popular term, right? But I'm like you, I pray and I ask for things that happen, right? Rather than fear the things that might happen or I'm afraid of. I know it totally starts there, but what are some of the actual action steps, the physical things that you had to do, whether like reaching out to people, negotiating with a business that enabled you to actually do what you're doing?
Okay. All right. So, to paraphrase a lot of business or marketing masters, they would say all business is innovation and marketing. And for me, like that, what that means is, I'm looking at a bunny rabbit right now. It's kind of cool. I see the ears poking out. What that means for me is making my gifts as valuable as possible and giving them to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So the internet allows that. I want to make sure that my first step is to treat myself how I would almost dream of treating my kids. Like, I want to make sure I'm learning. I want to make sure I'm getting stronger. I want to make sure I'm getting faster. I want to make sure I'm getting smarter. I want to make sure I'm building stronger relationships, just improving, always growing. The whole thing, if you're not growing, you're dying. So I want to make sure I'm growing. I want to make sure my spirit is evolving through this human experience. Secondly, I want to find out how I can give that gift, the gifts that I'm receiving from doing that, to as many people as possible. And that means vlogging, video blogging. That means taking awesome pictures. Like when I'm in an awesome place, I make sure to make an awesome video or take an awesome picture, so I can kind of share that perspective with other people. And sometimes it means maybe an awesome picture with a meaningful message, or maybe it means an awesome background with a meaningful video. And then just upload it kind of making sure there's a little bit of a brand awareness. The RawBrahs, we have youtube.com/RawBrahs, twitter.com/RawBrahs, facebook.com/RawBrahs.com. So there's a brand awareness of RawBrahs. We're always plugging that away. We're always promoting. In a way, it's like a subtle promotion for ourselves, our brand, our media company, but we're making sure that we're giving a lot of value. It's not just it's not just we're selling crap or just promoting whatever comes at us. We want to make sure it's making us as good as possible, because we get so much growth from it. And we want to share that. The idea, the secret of living is giving. Another quote from, who knows? I think I heard it from Tony Robbins at one point. I did hear it from Tony Robbins, but does that answer that question? I know these are big questions with big answers.
That is literally the foundation of what I talk about, is the value, right? Like giving great value. And in your case, you guys are passionate about experiencing life, getting better, learning, connecting with other people, and you're trying to document that, whether you're documenting what you're eating, documenting where you get to travel, especially places that other people wouldn't get to go to. And you guys go even farther. I saw that video. I forgot where you guys were. It was somewhere in the States. You guys went past the trail, right? You went past the end of the trail. You went to a place where most people would never go to. So you guys document that and share it with everybody. And there's definitely a value. It's like the travel channel on YouTube. And I don't want to disrespect what you guys do by dwindling you down to a travel blog, right? But the reality is, what you guys bring to the table in terms for a business, right, is that exposure to people that might want to travel to those locations. So I've heard a lot of stories about how you guys deal with businesses or people that own businesses, even just people, period. How have you guys reached out, and what are the value? What are the resources that you offer to businesses to be able to get things that you need for your business?
All right. So firstly, that's a good question, because I've been thinking, I'm in the process. I'm almost always continuously in that process.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is and this is a Napoleon Hill quote or an idea, with every seed of failure is planted a seed of equivalent future success.
Yeah.
So I'm continuously putting myself out there. No is nothing to be beat up about. You have to learn how to accept and know, or realize you have to alchemically convert your stumbling blocks into stepping stones, or obstacles into opportunities. There's a book, The Obstacle is the Way. Some of the most successful people just look for ways to almost practice failing. They have failure. There's no such thing as their attachment to the word failure is something completely different than what most people think. So most people think failure, wall, turn around, quit, stop. The difference is between these, I would say it almost seems 2% of the people are getting to experience 98% of the world, while 98% of the people are fighting over the other 2%.
Yeah.
So what does make those 2% different? That is a big question. And I think one is that they've relinquished the fear of failure.
Yeah.
And I do that by living life in the context of death, and rather, because I'm more in reality, I'm more about surviving and actually thriving, and like looking at like I could die tomorrow, or the person I'm interacting with could die tomorrow. And that is a great kind of meditating on mortality is a kind of a great way for me to make sure I'm doing things in the right context. Those bunny rabbits, man, they're kind of distracting. This is a big bunny rabbit. Like I wish I kind of want to flip the camera. And for instance, just to make an example, because I know these are kind of like big topics and big themes.
Yeah.
Yesterday I went to Yellowstone, and I was in the river at Yellowstone. And there was a company called LifeStraw. And I just like, man, I want them to sponsor our next retreat. Like, I really believe in this product. So I'm just going to make a video right now personally for them. I got Diana to hold the iPhone, and I took a video of me sucking water out of the creek with a hot spring behind me and like bragging about how good their product is and what I could do for them. Like I make sure once again, I'm telling them the value that I can give them. They have so many big companies with a lot of resources and money have so many people reaching out to them. You could get lost in a sea of emails. So you have to stand out, do something cool, do something crazy, and do something that offers them value. Tell them what you can do for them instead of them. You could do this for me. You could give me $5,000 if you sponsor a retreat. No, like, let me tell you how many people will learn about your product because we've done over 20 retreats with 9 to 26 people. Our next one's in Montana, like RawBrahs, LifeStraw. Like, I come up with like these phrases and I just push it. And if it doesn't work, what's the worst that happened? I had a good time drinking water out of a river in Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, giving value to a business where maybe, like video, for example, it's a foreign thing to a lot of people, but you can bust out your iPhone. You can make something on the spot, unscripted, but it's better than anything they could do in-house, right? And for them to duplicate what you're going to offer them, just the video, we're not even talking about the audience, just the video alone would cost them an arm and a leg, or they might not have a budget allocated for that. So I talk about all the time as a YouTuber how powerful you are being a backpack producer, where you do everything yourself, and what a business values that at. And then, as if that wasn't enough, especially in your case, you have a following of people who would probably want to go to not only to places that you feature, but places you go, because you are like the epic travel guy. You go to these crazy places and they want to experience what Daniel Eisenman has to offer or has experienced. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think two things about that 2% talk. One being like, I love that metaphor that you said about the trail, and it's so true. Like, I go to places like Lake Tahoe. Like, I recently went to Lake Tahoe, or Glacier Lake in Oregon.
Yeah.
Both like super high, crystal clear, like polar plunging. I'm a big believer in polar plunging and the health benefits of that. And I think that's actually where the most benefits from a lake come from, is swimming it, especially these high mountain lakes that are like spring fed or like bubbling up from the ground or on the top of a volcano. That I believe is super healing to go in that water. So I think like 98% of people are just going there and they look at it. We make a point to do what the rest of the crowd is not doing. So we go swimming, or we go cliff jumping, or we like go to the trail to get in the water. Yeah. And then I find out that's like where 98% of my experience comes from. So I would look at what the Matrix is doing. This is one way to do it. Like, look at what the Matrix is doing and then do something different. Like, think about what they're missing and like use them as a contrast for what's possible. And then eventually, we'll keep evolving as humanity by doing that. But the second thing you were talking about is, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. I don't know who all is watching these videos, but like, videos, man. Yes. Like, you said it. You're like, not only that, when we do our retreats, we make sure to get video testimonies. And right now I'm on my iPhone, and I think most people have some sort of phone that can record a video, and I just stuck it on a tripod. Like, that's it. There's like, the media has become so simple that if you are not doing like video testimonies, edutaining videos on certain topics for your company or your brand or whoever you are, then you're kind of like missing out on the miraculous. It's kind of like the internet coming out 10 years ago and someone like, I don't want to use the internet. Just go ahead. I almost feel like I'm giving like a secret away. Some people maybe not like hearing this. They're using it to their advantage, but like, the more you do videos in the more effective way with like good audio, good lighting, and this is something we've talked about before, like the subject specific quick videos, man, it's just like you can build a awareness. And most people in the past, I've heard this number. I think like before, to get associated with the brand, you needed about 4 impressions. Today you need about 16.
Yeah,
because there's so much information everywhere, and people are just like scrolling addicts. Like we have a new verb, like a new muscle in our thumb. So like do something to stick out. Like make a cool video with good audio and good lighting. It's that simple.
Absolutely. Okay, so as a YouTuber, what I feel is unique about you is you're able to do all these amazing things, including travel, meet amazing people, and experience life in a way that most people can't. And as a YouTuber, you're able to accomplish a lot. But what's interesting about you and your channels and your social media, maybe comparing to someone like myself, is you don't have 1 million subscribers. You're not getting 100,000 views per video. In fact, in a lot of cases, a lot of people might perceive like the amount of views you get wouldn't command the things that you get in your life or in your business, or what you get to experience. Can you tell me about the importance of the quality of viewers versus the quantity? Because you're a great example of that. Even like right now, you're at about 37,000 subscribers. But when I first met you, I believe you're like maybe 20,000 subscribers, and you were still doing a lot of these things even back then.
Yeah, that's another great question. I'm loving sometimes questions are the answers, and your questions are really good. The quality over quantity. It's like French cuisine, man. It's like how I do my workouts. It's like how I live my life. I mean, it's amazing, and how that carries over to your business as well. The funny thing, that just to answer your question in sort of a backwards way, I know people that make actually a lot more money than me. That use YouTube and like social media, but they have a lot smaller following than I do. And that was profound for me. And I think maybe I've realized is maybe it's sort of kind of like, are you appealing to an audience that's just mindlessly kind of scrolling, or are you appealing to an audience that's like hungry for information, and they're going to do what it takes to get what they want? And if that means going to a retreat that's more expensive than usual because they can find that information they can't find anywhere else, they're going to do it. And I think basically, once again, like if you make yourself as valuable as you can, that might not mean appealing to the most amount of people. That might mean appealing to like a smaller, I'm not saying some people are better than others, but like what some would consider as a more elite group. I mean, what is it? What's the numbers like? 10% of the world has like 90% plus of the assets and income. So that tells you something right there. If you can appeal to those 10%, I think in the United States it might be even crazier. It might be like 1 to 2% has like 90+% of the wealth. So think about that. Like, are you appealing? And if you're just doing it for fun and a hobby, I'm not saying like be so targeted where you lose yourself, but I think inevitably by just me making sure our path is finding ourselves, kind of like keep actualizing our potential, then we keep kind of appealing to a higher end group, if you will. I don't want to sound superior, but
it totally makes sense, and I want to add to it and get your thoughts on it. In another perspective too, it's not necessarily niching yourself to like one topic, but if you're an expert at a certain type of video, a certain type of genre of video on YouTube, like you are, right? Holistic health, maybe. And the audience that's watching you, they're really into that, and they're like hungry for that, like you said. It's easier to have them come out to you and sell them an experience at a retreat than it is just, like you said, 100,000 people mindlessly just watching maybe you on the beach swimming in the water, right? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I imagine, let's think about this, like a Forbes magazine reader versus like the paparazzi.
Yeah.
Who do you think is getting more money or creating more valuable clients? Yes, the paparazzi might be getting more views, but Forbes is appealing to the 1 to 2% of people that have 90+% of the wealth. And if that's not your thing, that's fine. But there does seem sort of a trend with people that are more willing to invest in themselves. The same people are the ones that are more into health or more into wellness or more into expanding your consciousness. So it seems like it's a crowd and a demographic that's like, I want to go on this retreat, and price is not my number one factor. Like, I see beyond that. Like giving people an opportunity to invest in themselves, like they've dreamt of others investing in them, is like a really honoring thing for me. And because I've done that before, I've made big investments in myself, and the payoff is so worth it that I'm so grateful to God to be like in a position where I can offer an experience where other people are investing in themselves.
All right, Dan, now one of the things I respect so much about you and what you've been able to accomplish is your ability to reach out to business people and just people in general. And if there's something that you need for your retreat, or you need to get somewhere and you need help, that you're able to attract these resources to yourself. I just say resources because it bundles everything up. Can you talk about what advice you have for other people that might be in the same place as you to be able to accomplish the same things?
Yeah, so beyond the idea of what we talked about earlier, with every no or current no, is there's an equivalent seed of success or yes in the future. I think also getting over the fear of failure, but I do want to stress the importance that you want to make sure that if you're looking for a sponsorship or to partner with another company or collaborate with another figure, that you're aligned, or if you're not aligned, to at least express that you're not aligned. Like, you don't want to sell out. You don't want to be like, if you're only like you're a raw vegan, you don't want to look to Coca-Cola, because again, that's where a success can equal a failure. There's nothing worth selling that part of you. So think about the companies that you really believe in, like the products that you want to buy, the products that you would invest in, and then when you're able to not only sell your love for the company, because there's no selling, it's just authenticity. Selling sometimes has like a manipulative rep, but I'm saying selling it from your heart, like you're just telling the truth that you love the company, and then also your fan base, because they're following you, they'll probably love it, and like having 1,000 right fans compared to 100,000 wrong fans. I think the company, like if they're a big enough company and if they're grown enough, they'll realize like, well, it's a small brand, but man, like 90% of their brand might be interested in our product rather than like 1% of a huge brand.
Sweet. Great answer. I only have 2 more questions for you, Dan. And number one question would be, what's your advice for YouTubers just starting out and trying to decide what it is that they want to do on YouTube? Or maybe they already know what they want to do and how to go about it.
Okay, cool. Just yesterday, I listened to the War of Art. There's a book called The Art of War. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. While we drove to Yellowstone and like looked around at all the abundance that's around us, and there's no shortage of abundance. So if you believe that, you're living, I don't know what city you're living in, but just go to Montana or wherever you have to see there's no shortage. And he talked about this idea of hacks, and they're like authors that basically think about what's hot, like what's in the market, and then they write about that, rather than writing about what's actually on their heart, rather than writing about what's actually they're passionate about. And in reality, succeeding at something that you're not passionate about might be one of the biggest failures in the world. It's like going to the casino and winning for the first time. Like, casino owners hope that you win the first time, because then you can become an addict and then you can lose all your money there. So it's kind of like that. Like, you want to make sure beyond money, like money is just a representation of energy. So if you're just chasing the dollar bills, you're kind of chasing your tail. You want to chase your heart. You want to chase what you're passionate about. Like, what comes to you that is like so easy and that you love doing and is so passionate, and everyone else has like a really hard time understanding it. Like, what is that thing? I would ask that question. Like, was it playing the violin? Is it like blowing big bubbles and you love blowing big bubbles? Is it doing one-legged squats? Like, is it doing calisthenics? Is it talking about philosophy? Like, what is it that everyone else seems that like you are almost confused? Why can't they grasp it? It's so fun and easy. That's probably, and if it scares you, if that's like coupled with scaring you, then I highly recommend doing it, because that's probably your heart calling you. And then you succeed no matter what, no matter the number of subscribers and no matter how long you do it. As long as you're doing something you love doing, then you're winning.
Dude, awesome. Great advice for anybody. I mean, just not even as a YouTuber, but somebody trying to find out what's their calling in life. As somebody that I recently just interviewed said something similar. He said, what is the thing that you love and you're better than the 5 peers around you, right? Like, peers that are into it. Like, what is it that, like, without even thinking, you can do better and you love that? That's a great example. Because a lot of people, like you said, they might pursue certain things because of the rewards that it gains them, and maybe some of these superficial things that people strive for. But in the end, right, they feel empty. And I guess, it kind of goes along with, like, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, right? The quality of your life, the quality of your accomplishments, what resonates in your heart. All right, last question here.
I'll drop one more bomb of wisdom just in case people
drop it.
Just in case people don't. Just consider this: that from the spiritual, your soul, there's no such thing as time or space. So there's no such thing as quantity. Like in a way, just like go you're after what your heart desires. Yeah. Like forget about the time, forget about the amount of people, forget about the amount of hours, forget about how much it might cost you. If there's that calling, run after that. And I think most people have shut that down because it's a little scary. It's a little too much, overwhelming. But anyways, let's get to the last question.
All right, last question. No, great answer. I love the bombs. Drop them up left and right. All right, so actually it's really for you. Can you tell the audience about what's your latest project? And where they can find you if they want to follow you and be connected with Daniel Eisenman.
Okay, cool. That ironically, because I'm this is like the right before the tipping point. I'm working on a book. Got a lot of big projects coming. I have a videographer actually coming tomorrow. So in the meantime, I would say check out my wife's channel, Life is Diana, because she's probably there's a little more of the video blogs. I want to see kind of the stuff that we've done to get to this point, RawBrahs, and where I'm currently at with my own projects and these own, if you're really into the philosophies or psychologies or how to turn thought into action or knowledge into wisdom or your dreams into reality, then I've created a channel, Daniel Eisenman. That's like Eisenhower, but man. So Eisenman.
Yep. We'll put everything in the info box. Maybe even put text. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then I've just interviewed, and I would like to interview you for that as well because I think that you have a very liberated life in a way, especially what you've been doing, especially with the family. Most people, I find you mentioned the younger thing. The craziest thing is doing all these retreats and honesty and all the studies we've done. That I believe the same people that are telling themselves when we have people come on retreats and I'm too young for this. I'm only 18. I don't get this. Are they going to be the same people? If they don't wake up, they're going to be the same people when they're 60 saying they're too old for this. Yes. So the same people that were saying they were too old for this are the same people that were saying they were too young when they were. So they were when is it going to happen? When are you not too old or when are you not too young? And I have a saying when you're winning on yourself, you're losing. WHEN. When you're winning, you're not winning. The time is now. Take action. So it's just it reminds me of that realization. And I think those RawBrahs.com, that's where we do our retreats. Our next one's here in Montana. Yeah. So I don't know when you're uploading this, but it's at the end of the month. And that might be the last RawBrahs retreat for a while. Okay. So this is the one to take advantage of for sure. Okay, cool. Well, I'll definitely put all the links, and hopefully this video gets up before then. I think it might. But thank you so much, Daniel. I'll make sure to pull all the links. Everybody, check them out. If you, number one, just want to see some epic videos, both for travel, food, as well as fitness. We didn't even talk about the fitness stuff, but you guys are definitely role models for me. And they have their shirts off, ladies, most of the time. So if you're into that kind of thing. I was actually asking you for a picture, Dan, because the only picture I have of you guys is me with my shirt off with you guys in Kauai. And then people might get the wrong idea. I don't know. So anyways, there you go. Thank you so much, everybody. I will talk to you later.